Why do you like to be alive? There's an old man I sometimes visit who can talk your ear off for hours on end. You'll sit down with him, and he'll start to unload his stories, one after the other, of his old friends, his years in the radio industry, and his misadventures chasing women. Once, halfway through his usual ramble, he stopped, turned to me, and said, "You know what? Life is fun. And it stinks to know that I'm getting close to the end, because the whole thing's just been so damned fun." That's always stuck with me. It's my belief that the person who's had the most successful life is the one who, when it's all said and done, has the best stories to tell his grandkids. Personally, I'm approaching 30 and I feel like the past 20 years of my life could be literally erased from my memory and I wouldn't lose anything of value. Working on fixing that now though, my goal is that when I'm 40 I won't wish for cancer anymore. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep. Robert Frost. Someone's got to feed my Tamagotchi. Cause there are pies to be eaten. Pie is a good reason to be alive. Pro tip, take up baking, and you can eat all the pie you want. Your friends will love you, too, I cheated that tip and married someone who loves baking. All the same perks with much less work. Occasional serotonin. It hits me every once in a while. Also garlic bread. Serotonin caused by garlic bread. He's cracked it. I'm terminally ill and the closer I've gotten to death the more I've just sat back and watched nature, genuinely stopping to smell the roses. It's the little things in life that make life worth living. The family of birds in a nearby tree communicating with each other. The dog you wake up every morning to and can't wait to see you and be around you. I even oddly like watching the trees rustle on a windy day. Watching my fish swim around their aquarium. Valuing the time and memories I make with my wife and friends. People that say life isn't worth living need to try their very best to smell the roses, watch the sun rise or sunset. I know sometimes life really can get us down in the dumps, but life is truly beautiful. Edit. Just woke up and checked all the notifications. Thank you everyone for the awards and the very nice words. It's very humbling to get so many beautiful responses. I've done my best to read and like as many as possible. One comment I noticed is about how close to death we come. My fate was luckily decided by my oncologist. I was in ICU last year. I was septic and had a superbug the doctors couldn't get on top of. My kidney had completely stopped and I only have one kidney. Fortunately, when the ICU had the various teams come together to decide whether to continue or let me go. My oncologist demanded they continue to treat me because I'm young 29 and my heart and lungs are in good shape. I'm still here to this day, so I owe it all to that man who saved my life multiple times. I've sat with my wife and cried, told her I was ready to go and laid patiently with my eyes closed ready to be taken away. It just didn't happen. Since that moment I've done my absolute best to enjoy the little moments in life that we easily brush past and let go unnoticed when we are busy and living a healthy normal life. I'll try to individually reply to comments where I can. Thank you everyone. Stick around as long as you can, you have some good wisdom to pass on. They say, people who are closing to death have their entire life flash before their eyes. They can very well judge what was good and what was bad. They are certainly a good source of wisdom. It's pretty amazing listening to them. I myself fear death to a point it freaks me out. And it's surprising how people say they will miss things like trees, soil, animals and family. Just the same things we take for granted. We must realize and learn from what they've got to say and act on it. My prayers are with OC. In late 1999, Terence McKenna described his thoughts concerning his impending death to interviewer Eric Davis. I always thought death would come on the freeway in a few horrifying moments, so you'd have no time to sort it out. Having months and months to look at it and think about it and talk to people and hear what they have to say, it's a kind of blessing. It's certainly an opportunity to grow up and get a grip and sort it all out. Just being told by an unsmiling guy in a white coat that you're going to be dead in 4 months definitely turns on the lights. It makes life rich and poignant. When it first happened, and I got these diagnoses, I could see the light of eternity, a la William Blake, shining through every leaf. I mean, A bug walking across the ground moved me to tears. As I get older, I'm scared of death for myself less and less, but it's those I'll leave behind that I worry about more and more. I'm so scared of dying. To see you face it head on and be brave leaves me speechless. Every day is a gift, and I hope one day I'm as brave as you. I'm scared of dying too. I feel at peace just reading your comment. People need to enjoy the tiny things in life, just like you said. There's a lot of places I still want to go, books I want to read, movies I want to see. Even if I don't get to experience it all before I die, I like the anticipation of it all. This right here. Very relatable. Also imagine all the cool stuff that might happen in the future. And all the cool places you might visit. That is what I look forward to. The idea that any random day you can meet someone who might change your life at most and be someone you enjoy being around at the least has helped me. I met an old man battling cancer at work a few years back, and he is one of the most generous and thoughtful humans I have ever met. I was never close to my grandparents, and I think a young adult having an older, wiser person in their life to look up to can be very important. I haven't tried all the restaurants in my area, and it actually has been a good motivator to cherish the whole life thing. That is surprisingly extremely simple. And cute. And beautiful. I need a new area. Happiness in tiny things is absolutely the key to being truly happy. Walking to work or university or whatever and looking at how cool certain buildings, clouds, clothing etc. looks, and just appreciating the beauty of the world is a prime example. Same here, kind of. One of my casual side quests I'm on in this current outside playthrough is to find the perfect cheeseburger. It's like my personal little guideline to test any new restaurant I try, because if they can do a good cheeseburger, then they usually have their crap together. So far, the best cheeseburger I've ever had was from a little restaurant in MKE that I went to once on a trip. They got everything right. Edit. To everyone asking, it was AJ Bombers. I remember they had some odd as hell menu items, like a peanut butter cheeseburger. Anyway, I had ordered the bacon cheeseburger with the pretzel bread bun, and they had perfectly smashed down the patties so that the edges were just slightly crisp, added in enough cheese to accomplish an ideal cheese to meat ratio with the smashed patties. Usually it's too much meat and not enough cheese, and the bacon appropriately came out as it should with every bite. Bacon is wont to come out of the burger all the way with one bite if you don't cook the bacon to the right texture or glue it in properly with just melted enough cheese. The pretzel bread bun was perfectly grilled and added to the overall effect of a soft crunch texture to that cheeseburger that I've come to compare all other cheeseburgers by. The tater tots were exemplary. 10 tenths, would travel to MKE just to eat there again. I have a friend that's going through some tough times, so I like to check up on him every day and encourage him. You're a good friend. He's not a good friend. He's a great friend. I stayed alive for so long, not because I wanted to. I really didn't want to. At all, because I worried about my mom. She's my best friend, and she would be devastated if I died. And for my siblings, because they were living in an unhealthy environment and I wanted to be there in case they ever needed me. Thankfully, I now want to be alive to travel, start a family, and spend all the money I don't have on things I like. And music. Well, music was always there keeping me alive. That's beautiful. More people need friends like you. It's not necessarily that I like to be alive now, but the nature of life as a constant ebb and flow of thrills and disappointments implies a coming wave of joy sooner or later. Thoughtful face. I hope it does for you. I hope it does for Weblink. It seems better than being dead. Not better than dead, but once alive, dying becomes scary. I stopped being afraid of death after experiencing some terrible pain for years from undiagnosed ulcerative colitis. I was only 16, so no one believed me. Wasn't diagnosed until I was 19 and my hemoglobin was 3, 15 to 18 is normal. I have felt that point where your body is struggling to keep up with basic needs for everything to function. I begged for death in those days. I guess I'm alive now because I found 2 competent doctors, a good surgeon, and my body is just stubborn and doesn't want to give up. Edit. I should clarify that above is a brief description of what led to me not being afraid to die and how I felt at that time. As said, once I found someone who would help, I bounced back in health and felt immensely better. My lack of fear of death has remained unchanged, however. That being said, I do not seek out death or want to die prematurely and never have. Begging for death really did happen, however it was me wanting the pain that brought me to a fetal position out of nowhere and staying there for sometimes hours, and then the suffering out of just everyday life knowing I wasn't myself, wasn't healthy, but couldn't get anyone to actually do a basic workup on me or even look at me and see I was not just pale, but ashen gray. I looked like a corpse. It's like someone telling you that you're insane and none of it is really happening. In that time, I did beg for death at moments because I wanted all the pain and suffering to end. If I couldn't get care to fix whatever was wrong, then I did not see the reason to continue in pain and suffering. Change that full code status to no code kind of mentality. Never did I want to kill myself though. Please, if you feel like dying, wanting to die, wanting to kill yourself, please seek help. Every time I accomplish something, or finish an assignment, I just feel so effing proud of myself. I feel so lucky to be alive and in the place in the world I have. I saw you're an indie game developer. Good luck with any projects you may be working on. It's a tough business. Thanks. I'm actually planning to have a different job apart from that to have a steady income, so I'll only be a hobbyist. My wife's car has been messed up since Christmas. We spent $800 on it in January, but it didn't fix it. Yesterday I figured out the problem and fixed it with, no joke, parts I already had. I was so effing proud of myself. I was riding the adrenaline high until 4 a.m. and I still have this ball of exhilaration in my chest. Fixing stuff is the best. There's some crap I still need to do. The list keeps growing, so it's kind of an ongoing thing. Edit. Holy smokes, this blew up. THX everyone for the awards and upvotes. I spent the first half of my adult life living on fast forward. I worked hard to get through college with almost no student debt. I worked 60+ hours, went off from school and full-time with a full-time schedule. I grew up a have-not with uneducated parents and a single mom that broke her back so I could have opportunity. I put that on my shoulders and powered through. I studied business and finance, and now I own a business. The thing is, despite being proud of that time, I can hardly remember feeling happy. I can remember laughing with friends from college I swore at the time were my brothers, or being in the trance-like state of being young and in love, but not just genuinely feeling happy. I know I was at times, but I can't recall clearly because of all the work and travel and thrill chasing. When I was 24, my mom, who was the monolith of everything good about my identity, got small cell lung cancer and died within the year. You want to talk about a blur? I cared for her as she did hospice in our home, and I can remember the wild ride of trying to do everything I could to make her smile, then everything I could to make her comfortable, then everything I could to squeeze a life's worth of life lessons into a week, to finally hoping with all my heart that she wasn't in pain as she laid there unable to respond to anything. If you want to talk about a hard stop to a breakneck life, then losing your beacon in the storm is it. At the end, I remember telling her I'd make her proud. That I'd do something with my education and make a name for myself. She said, I'll be proud of you either way. God, just typing that wrenches my gut now a decade later. One day I was pushing her on a wheelchair to this ice cream shop we had been to countless times in my childhood. It was less than a block away. She had me stop. I was confused. She told me she just wanted to close her eyes and feel the sun and listen to the robins. She told me that whenever the sunshine warmed my face that she'd be holding my face in her hands. When she finally let go, her funeral was the real shock to the system. Not because she was actually gone, but because of the sheer number of souls at the funeral that I had never met. My mom and dad adopted me in their 30s. I met countless people from before that time that my mom had touched. She helped so many people get through school, leave abusive partners, kick drug habits, raise their kids, and the list goes on. It was a real eye-opener. She never had much money in her whole life. She had a long career in medical billing at the end. She didn't win the rat race per se, but she resonated so beautifully with so many people. That's what being alive is effing about, my friends. Being present for yourself, and for others, and resonating beyond today in ways that are important. I think about all of the mistakes I made as a young adult. Being brash and insensitive, being naive and loud with my opinions, crossing the line of consent and autonomy in many ways with a lot of people, saying I didn't have time for the people I could see were struggling, taking advantage of people and angling all the time to get ahead, which growing up in poverty is sort of a byproduct of survival and hard to shake, and also just not being there. I mean, like autopilot life despite all of the rich things in life around me. If you read this far, just know this. I get up every morning and close my eyes and just listen. I take a minute and think about what a privilege it is to be able to take in even the mostly silent stimuli of an empty room. If my cat decides to sleep at my feet, I listen for her little kitty breath or watch her lungs fill up and rise and fall and think about whether she knows how much I love her. I have a cup of coffee and I really taste it. I think about the crazy process it goes through to even be a bean, much less be in a cup warming my soul and opening my eyes. I have a busy schedule, no doubt, and I have a flood of stimuli barrages every day, but I spend so much time listening to the robins. I people watch like crazy. I take the time to match smiles sent my way. I don't let someone I think is in pain pass by unnoticed, and I try to get know people's paths that lead to who they are now when they wrong me, because understanding that much about someone gives you peace even if it doesn't excuse what they do. I have a rule of taking 10. Take 10 seconds to calm down, take in, consider, feel, etc. 10 seconds to ask a question. 10 seconds to Google something you're curious about. 10 seconds to see just how rich everything is in this crazy beautiful existence. I can't stress enough how much better I feel every day, and I close my eyes in the sunshine for Mom every chance I get. Edit. I guess the point of this yarn is that I hope it doesn't take losing someone for you to pause and be present. Every year my company donates to a cancer fund in her name if you want to get involved. PM me for details. So many awards. It's so nice to see my mom's legacy touching everyone. Cancer sucks, but all of these stories are wonderful. Keep being kind. It's amazing to see everyone being so good to each other in the comments. Edit 2. Over $4,500 raised for my mom's donation in her name. That will almost double what we do. If you still would like to PM me for details. Edit 3. June now and still more donations are coming in. I'm so glad that her memory can live on with contributions in her name. We actually are doing it monthly now, and we switch between St. Jude's and CCA. Thank you all. I'm so glad this meant so much to so many. Edit 4. This has been a living, breathing thread and you all are awesome. August now and over $6,000 raised by internet strangers. Amazing. She told me that whenever the sunshine warmed my face that she'd be holding my face in her hands. Web link. She was poetic. Yeah, I lost it there. So moving. It was like stepping on an emotional landmine. I have tears streaming down my face right now. Beautiful. Thank you for this. I just saved this in my phone so I can reread it later. Thank you for writing this. I don't struggle with depression, but the autopilot really resonated with me because it's so easy to just put your head down and get through portions of your life even when there's great thing all around you. I'm going to go have a great cup of coffee. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.